558. Okay. So you moved it right here.
Scott, Soldier Power.
Hi, Scott.
Hey, Steve.
How you doing? All right?
Doing all right. How you doing?
Good.
Good.
No quorum as of yet. Just two of you.
You're the only one on so far.
Okay, sounds good, guys.
Scott, were you the Steelers fan or was that Chris?
I am not a Steelers fan in the least, but I'm a Browns fan.
Okay. You're a Browns fan?
I am.
That's the enemy, by the way. I am.
Don't tell me you're a Steelers fan.
I was born and raised in Pittsburgh. Hey, Chief.
Hey, this is Chief Donovan.
I was born outside Cleveland, so kind of have to hate the Steelers.
Joyce Lopez.
We're at outside Cleveland.
It was a town called Amherst, but the last place I lived before I moved was down near Cedar Point in Sandusky.
Oh, okay. I had an uncle from there actually. I've been to I've been to Cedar Point actually a couple different times.
Yeah.
The park, and I also been to SeaWorld out there too. So,
Okay.
is there still a SeaWorld out there? Do you know?
I mean, last time, it's probably been 10 years since I've been there, but there was one.
Okay.
No more Shamu, though.
No more Shamrock. Yeah, that's right.
We do have a quorum.
It is. You got 6?
Yep.
It is 6 o'clock. I will call this meeting to order. Steve Estatico present. Joyce Lopez. Joyce.
Present.
Heston Klink.
I'm here.
Okay. Heston Klink. Scott Skilgenbauer.
Present.
Brad Lingard. Frank Elanise. John Perez.
I'm present.
Tim Gatto.
Present.
Also present are Town Manager Todd Pryor and Town Clerk Ruby Cervantes. We have a quorum. I know what the next one is, but please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Number 4 is the consent agenda, and the only item on the consent agenda is approval of minutes of the February 18th, 2020. Should that be 21? Correct?
Which one are we looking at?
The consent agenda, it says February 18th, 2020.
Yeah, it's an error. Can you correct that, lady?
So
Is
that
this on
should-
the agenda or the minute?
So approval of the minutes on the meeting on the February 18th, 2021 agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll motion Scott Solzbar with approve.
Scott makes the motion. Do I have a second?
Second, Mark Chief Pettit.
Chief Perez seconds it. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. New business, the first discussion item is discussion on quarterly drills, upcoming drills to 2021 Q1 drill. Is that, do we have a date? Are we going to do it virtual? What's going on with that? Or we not planned that out at all?
Yeah. If I could take that one on, so I've been thinking about this one a bit, and I was kind of wondering what the towns, where they're at with with having external drills like this? Are they in favor of it, opposed to it? Just looking for some advice that I can take them to resolution management and get alignment.
And I'll let Todd speak more about that. I think probably a couple things. One is who's vaccinated would be one, and could you hold the drill using the basic, requirements, social distance, mask, and all that sort of such. So
Pretty much same thing I was gonna say. The fire department's holding all their internal drills right now. If that doesn't work for resolution, then at least the tabletop drill on Zoom should be in order.
So I think, Scott, if Chief Paris wants to chime in too, if you guys can set it up and put the requirements down and show us the plan, I think would be satisfactory for everybody.
Okay. Yeah, we have pretty strict COVID control still on site, but let me run this fire management and talk to them a little bit, because I think they're beneficial still, and the more in-person stuff we can do, the better. And we've had a few call-outs even without the drills going on. So I think we can do it with COVID controls in place. So, but I'll take that on as an action to go back to resolution management and see if they're willing to entertain it, because it's still there's no external engagements still in place. So I'll take that one on and find out if it's possible, and then I'll work directly with PD and fire to arrange the drill.
Chief, Tim, do you guys have any comments on that?
No, I think, if we go through our precautions, COVID precautions, I think we should probably be able to do something. We can look into it, see a resolution says I have no problem, my guys doing it. Protocols in place, supposed to be with one another. I think we can make something happen.
Okay, cool. All right, any other discussion on item A? Item B, and this
Well, sorry, Steve, real quick. This Q1 is almost coming to a close here, so I think we just scrap the Q1 and we try for this the drill for Q2 and shoot for that. We need to have time for planning and other things.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, that'll work.
All right.
Okay.
Item B, and this was on the last agenda, February agenda, discussion on the audit of the Superior Fire Department purchases made with funding from Resolution Copper and response to strategic questions from Emergency Services Agreement prepared by Public Safety Research Group. Does anybody want to start with the audit?
Chief Perez, you want to take this on? You want me to talk a little bit, or you want to do it?
You can start a little bit. If there's any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. Somebody has questions, let me know what they think. Go ahead and go. How do you want to take it?
Sure. I wanted to highlight from the audit, most of the items that were audited all did help bring the department closer to NFPA compliance. The deficiencies primarily noted for the fire department is poor staffing, because they only have 2 on duty at all times, and they definitely feel that needs to be addressed. If you look at staffing and deployment in the findings. And so what that means is if we have any increase in call volume, we're going to have to fairly rapidly increase staffing. There are some partially compliant ones, none of them particularly shocking. Sustained fire operations, again, that's more to do with how many people are available than anything else. Running a fire for a sustained period takes a huge amount of staffing, or almost entirely dependent on mutual aid for that. Another deficiency noted is the fire truck itself. They've been maintained properly and everything else. It's just they are at 23 years and 22 years old. They are nearing the point where one of them at least is going to have to be replaced in order to stay NFPA compliant. So that's going to be something that this group is going to have to discuss going forward. I know the chief's already been working on pricing and speccing of the apparatus. Have been talking to other agencies and determining what the next steps of that would be. After that, I'll have to do the work to determine what funding is available, USDA loan or something like that is most likely. And this group will have to decide how much money is available from capital expenditures in order to help pay for that. This is a huge expenditure. It's $650,000, but it is one of the core components of the contract that it calls for us to maintain compliance in. So this is going to be a large discussion item going forward, and I just wanted to put it on everybody's radar so that you can read the basis and understand why it is necessary. And that's all I have to say.
Would you look at buying a brand new one, or would you look at buying possibly a newer used one, maybe 5 years, 10 years old?
Brand new.
Yeah, the NFPA compliance says you've got 20 years to run it. After that, you have to do a full off fit, and then you have to do then you can run it till 25. So the newer we buy, the better we are, the more life we get out of it. Engine 5, which was the old Ward La France, operated for the town for 38 years. So these are massive investments, but they're also very long-term investments because we don't put a lot of miles on them. A truck that comes from Mesa will have 150,000 miles on it. Our truck, I believe, has the one we bought new has 30,000 miles on it, something like that. Chief, I don't remember.
It's so.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I think it does. We maintain these trucks very well. We have a good program in place, and they get their oil changes due to time, not due to mileage. So we've taken very good care of these trucks. We maintain them best we can. And like the town manager says, you aren't getting old. Parts are hard to find sometimes. Cost more money. A new fire truck would be the way to go. You can tell we use these trucks to the very end and keep them 100% functional to the very end. So a new truck would be the way to go. It's a good investment, and that'll probably last me here at the fire department. So that's probably the best way to go for a brand new fire truck.
Okay. Any other discussion on the audit? Any questions, comments?
Yeah, sorry, I was on mute. Talking to myself here. So yeah, I just have a question about the staffing. So I know it was found as a deficiency, but in the near term, is that, I mean, what are we going to rely on? Are we going to rely on call volumes to go up and then be reactive, or are we going to be proactive and try and get additional staffing?
That's all dependent on funding, to be honest. If we can afford to pay a third man on, if the town's revenues continue to improve and financial health continues to warrant it, then we would have to look at expanding the fire department staffing. And volunteer staff just isn't practical anymore. This generation does not volunteer, so at least not on the same level. So we would have to add more professional staffing. Alternatively, the EIS says that if there is an increase in demand due to Resolution's expansion of their operations, then Resolution will provide the funding for that gap. So it is a two-pronged conversation. If we're doing it ourselves, we'll do it as money is available. You get the best fire department you can afford, not necessarily the one you need. And that's just the practicality of public safety.
There is an agreement in place, what is it, 60 days or after the EIC, how many, that resolution will provide the funding?
We have a steering committee, which we'll have to put on next council agenda, where the council has 2 members and Resolution has 2 members, and as costs increase, they will meet and discuss those costs and come up with a plan to meet them. I believe it's tied to the record of decision, and the record of decision is currently on hold.
Right.
I would have to look at the agreement. I don't remember the exact language.
So I guess another question. So you're not talking about Resolution, all that stuff going on, but how does our call volume compare to, how much money are we missing by not taking calls because we just don't have a second crew to send out? Do you have any idea?
Your question is how many calls are we missing because we don't have a second crew to send out?
Yeah,
Correct?
we send AMR up to take care of it or somebody else.
I don't know what the current ones are, maybe, Chief, you can address that?
Yeah, we'll have to look into that. I can't really have a good number for you guys right now, to be honest, but I know there is, sometimes AMR does have to come into town if our guys are busy or out on another call. I'll have to really look into that. I can probably say almost one a month for sure. Or one a week, no, probably one a week maybe. Well, that all depends on the call volume for that month, so I'll have to look at the numbers you guys want, true numbers on that.
Chief, can you do that and email that answer to Ruby so she can send it out to us?
Yeah, we can do that, no problem.
Okay.
And then my second question is on this engine discussion. So, the engine, this is going to be a lot of money we're talking about here. Is that going in front of the council for discussion, or, what's the next steps on that to get the ball rolling so funding set aside for it?
That's going to be a long process. It has to go, the chief has to determine a spec, then it'll have to have a bunch of meetings with the council. We'll have to probably align USDA funding to it, so that'll take 6 months to a year to set up. So we would be best case scenario looking at purchasing this in 2023.
I guess that's my concern is, are we starting the groundwork now to have the discussions in place for 2023 or whatever?
Yes, the chief is, go ahead, chief, sorry.
Yeah, we already started with a Pierce dealership. We've already had a first meeting. Went very well. There's probably a couple more to get the final spec, but we do have a spec in place. We have had a meeting already. We're having another one, I do believe, beginning of next month. We will have a demo truck here. They want to show us what we looked at, what we want. A demo truck going here. Glow Fire Department's also looking at it, the same type of truck. So, we have a better idea of what we're looking at, and so far it's been going very well. I have personal, with Mesa Fire, Larry Barber, he used to run the Mesa fleet, purchased many fire trucks with the city of Mesa. He's been very well helping me out, and my brother as well. And he tells me, what I really need or don't need will work for the department. There's some stuff on trucks that Mesa Phoenix might use, but Carroll will never use it. Not to waste the money on us. So we're really making sure we're going to order the truck we need for the area, and not wasting anything on something we don't need. Well, it's a big process. There's a lot of bolts and nuts, and there's a lot of stuff to a spec of a truck. So we've been moving forward on it very well. I think it's going good so far.
Can you share some of those specs with the committee here, just when you get those together? Be curious to see.
Yeah, you bet.
We'll go into that.
I'll definitely share it with you guys.
I was gonna say, if you have another meeting, let's put that on the agenda for next month, okay?
All right, I can see where we're at next month for as far as getting to the spec. I can do that.
Okay, are we having a meeting next month? Okay. Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, that concludes our new business. Item number 6 is adjournment. Do we have a meeting date for next month? March, I would say, what?
The third one.
19th or
22nd.
22nd? Next meeting date would be?
Should be. What is it? Oh, third one, sorry, 15th, okay?
We're all looking.
15th.
April 15th.
Next meeting should be April 15th. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
All motions, Scott.
Scott motions to adjourn the meeting. Do I have a second?
I'll second. This is Shirley.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, guys. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, guys.